I am a little bit late on this one, but I finally got around to seeing September 5th. This is the brand new movie about the Munich terrorist attacks at the Munich Olympic Games. Another one of these films, I think Steven Spielberg had made a film on this topic. I haven't seen it. Sorry. But this one follows the media and the journalists that were covering this attack as it was transpiring, specifically ABC, or I guess ESPN at the time. Did they own it? I don't know. Let me know in the comments. But ABC was set up right outside the Olympic Village where this attack had taken place, and these people that are known to do sports media now had to cover a massive terrorist attack, which is clearly not something they're used to doing. So now we have a movie. And I have to say, seeing this attack or this type of scenario told through the lens of the media is an interesting way of doing this story. I am a big fan of movies that cover these topics as they happen, beat for beat, in the moment, right? You get a lot of movies about terrorist attacks, about events that happen about what happened after. How did the country and the people respond to that? Or that cover one aspect in the moment, like the attack itself. I love movies, though, that could cover the whole basis of things and follow a lot of different perspectives, specifically something like Patriots Day about the Boston bombing. I think that's a brilliant film. This one, although it doesn't cover multiple different aspects, it covers a point of view that I found to be extraordinarily interesting, because this is a terrorist attack that had a lot of elements to it. A lot of things that are very modern and relevant to, like, our modern day, but also were incredibly interesting towards the times. If you didn't know what the Munich attack was, this took place during the Olympic Games in the 1970s. This was the first games or really major world event that took place in Germany since World War II. And if you didn't know, there was this thing in World War II where the Germans were the bad guys, right? They were the... I can't say it because YouTube will censor this video for some reason for mentioning the name in a video talking about the country that may have been part of that name. YouTube, fix your shit. Like, I'm not one of them. I just want to use the word so the audience knows what I'm talking about. Okay, I'm done complaining. But obviously, Germany did some bad things. There was a bad dude. They did some really, really evil, horrible things. Specifically to Jewish people. There was a thing called the Holocaust. I can say that. And this was the first major event since the Holocaust to take place in Germany after the war. Germany trying to be this welcoming, beautiful, amazing country. Like, hey, we're not bad anymore. Yeah, there's some dicks hanging around, but most of us are not dicks. We're chill people. We want you to hang out and eat sausages or something, whatever they do in Germany. And there was a big cultural aspect to the whole thing, specifically with the Israeli team. The Israeli team was a major aspect of this games. You know, obviously people from Israel who were Jewish coming and playing in these games. It was a big, monumental thing. Now, of course, the terrorist attack centered around the Israeli people. And no, it was not the Germans attacking them, obviously. It was stuff that had to do with things that connect to our modern world, right? It was a whole Palestinian, Muslim versus Jewish, all that stuff, whatever. I don't want to get into the politics of it all, but that's pretty much what it was. It was an Islamic attack against the Israeli team based on some political stuff that was going on in the region of Israel at the time. Still going on. Likely will be going on for another 1,000 years. Just to get you guys looking forward to something. Happening in Germany, this background set piece that had been kind of the world's worst place to be Jewish for a very long time. It was a horrible place. All these terrible things happened, and now they're happening again. So there was a big cultural significance to this attack that this movie covers. And the film does a good job of making that connection. One of the main characters in this movie is Jewish, and he's got this really strong connection and feelings towards the Israeli teams and towards what Germany had done. And his relationship to some of his co-workers who are from Germany is really fleshed out on screen. And as he's covering this event, you could feel his investment in the survival of the people. But also, this movie captures the balance of media as a business versus media as a moral, emotional, like, you know, sort of organization, right? There's this weird part of the film where they're talking about, hey, these terrorists have attacked this Olympic Village, they're holding hostages, and they're bringing out the hostages and showing them and pointing guns at them. Are we able to film this? Because what happens if somebody gets shot? And there's a legitimate debate of, like, can we show somebody getting shot on TV? Should we show somebody getting shot on TV? It's like, yeah, it would make some great TV, but that's a horrible, horrible thing. And that debate, which I think is maybe the strongest aspect of this movie, because it definitely connects to modern day, of the media. And what can the media show, and how far will the media go to pop that rating? How bad will things get? How horrible of things will they show and talk about to get that rating number? And this movie sort of dips its toes in that. It doesn't fully jump into it in the horrible morality stuff that it could have really gotten into, but it tells the story of the people that were on the ground involved in this and their open debate of what can we show in this attack? What are we able to do? And, like, it was fascinating. This movie also covered the kind of hilarious aspects of the terrorist attack. Not that any of it's hilarious. I'm gonna get freaking disliked and all that shit. But, like, the fact that the cops were so incompetent in Germany, they were unbelievably incompetent, which actually led to the mass tragedy that occurred here. But, like, even the aspect of when the German police were trying to get into where the hostages were being held, and the media were recording them on the rooftops, and the terrorists were watching the news in the room, watching the cops come onto their position. Yeah, that's kind of funny. What's not funny is everything else that transpired, because the Germany police were horrible. And this movie does a good job of covering it. It also does a good job of how the German government at the time were sort of embarrassed and just handled this so poorly. They lied to the media, told them one thing when a different thing was true, and the whole situation is just nuts. And I would say this movie, if you're looking just to learn about this attack, what happened, and the politics around it, this is not the movie that's going to deliver that for you. It's going to give you enough to get you really invested, but this is the type of movie that you're going to watch, you're going to go, wow, that really happened? Why did that happen? What happened after? And you're going to go home, and you're going to start Googling stuff, and maybe you'll watch the Steven Spielberg movie that I haven't watched, so I can't speak to it, but I'm assuming it's pretty good. But what this movie will do is give you an inside view of how the media works and how the media will cover and have covered events like this, tragedies, ongoing tragedies, and it's so fascinating. It was a different type of story. The acting was great. All the performances here were fun. The direction, it's very similar to something you would see in, like, that Saturday Night Live movie that we got recently, where it's mostly handheld shots, moving around, like digital zooms and all that stuff to make it really feel like fast-paced and non-stop and chaotic. It feels gritty, it feels raw, and you feel the emotions as the movie gets to its, you know, really horrifying and terrible conclusion of the actual events that occurred. I really enjoyed September 5th, though. I will give this a 4 out of 5, and I recommend going to check this one out. If you're somebody who is a history buff that wants to learn more about this time, if you're somebody that wants to get, you know, an inside view of how the media would handle this type of thing, or if you're just going to the movies and want to watch some dark shit about old Germany. Yet again, can't say the word. Well, granted, it wasn't that version of Germany. This was 30 years after that version of Germany. I'm gonna end this video now. Thanks for watching. Make sure to like this video, subscribe for more, turn on notifications. I'll see you in the next one.